Wow to go live. Uh, there we go. There we go. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Hey, ladies. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. I am so excited today. We have LaQuanta Pike here. She is a mental health advocate, right? And
Right.
I'm so excited about this conversation we're going to be having privately in our group about healing past traumas. LaQuanta, so can you tell us more about yourself, who you are, and how you became a mental health advocate?
Um, well, my name's LaQuanta, and I became a mental health advocate because of the traumas that I experienced. I wanted to show women and teach women how to get out of that rut because some of us struggle renewing from relationship to relationship and dealing with the same traumas, and we don't know how to deal with those things. So first, I started about getting my self help for is going to therapy, journaling, prayer, a lot of prayer, and just working on myself with affirmations. Journaling became my best friend. Okay, journaling became my best friend. Sorry, y'all, that's my child. Journaling became my best friend. It was very sacred to me because that was my way of getting my feelings out on paper. Um, and that was the start of my journey, as well as joining Clubhouse and just started sharing my story because at first I didn't see no light into it. And once I got the feedback and the different women coming to me about how did I do it and what can they do, that's when I knew that there was my calling to just speak life into other women because I love women and I know how it can be when you have so many hats and you feel like no one's listening or paying attention or just don't care. So this is why I'm so big on mental health because growing up, I wasn't taught how to deal with my emotions. I wasn't taught how to deal with my anger. I wasn't taught about relationships. I had to do trial and error. And now that I'm a mother of a little girl and I have my own children, I feel like it's very important that we change the narrative of how we can help those children, our children, before they get older, deal with their mental health before they become adults because we do not teach them how to deal with their emotions and how to communicate or just express themselves. They're gonna have relationship issues and all type of issues. So this is why I became so big into the mental health field.
Yeah, and I love the way you said how to protect the children and teach the children, right? Because a
Mhm.
lot of our trauma, honestly, it comes from childhood, right? So can
Yes.
you speak on being able to heal that wounded child, that wounded little girl inside? How were you able to do that in your life?
So I'm gonna be very transparent because there I have healed a lot of things regarding that little girl in my childhood life, but there's still more that I'm still working on for us. Self love and emotions, learning how to renewal through my emotions. But the first thing I did, I ended up going to therapy because I had learned that I was emotionally scarred. And how I learned that is through the last relationship I was in. Stop, mama. I learned
Mhm.
that through the last relationship I was in. I learned that I was emotionally scarred because I was comparing. No. I was comparing that person to every other relationship I was in. So I decided to work on myself
Mm.
because if we want something, we have to be doing it ourselves too in order to attract what we want, and that's something I had to learn. So I went to therapy. I did all the tools she gave me. She told me to write an apology letter to myself. That was really hard for me. It took me 3 hours because you can't lie to yourself about the things you went through. I had to relive it just by writing everything down in the journal. But after writing that journal, stop, mama. After doing a journal, I realized, a huge weight was lifted off my shoulders, and Mommy, I realized that was a start. Even though I didn't tell no one, I wrote it down. It was more of a relief, and that was the start of me learning how to let things go and let it out because I was holding it for so long. So
Yeah.
that's how I deal with my traumas. And that's how I continue to deal with my traumas.
And that's one of the things too, LaQuanta, is that we hold so much in for so long, right?
Mhm.
And when it's time, or when something triggers you and it just comes out in the wrong way. So before we started this conversation, we were going to start talking about what happened at the Academy Awards the other day. So do you want to talk about that? Um,
Um, no, ma'am. So my concept of what I saw, everyone was saying that he was laughing, and the only reason why he did what he did because he saw his, Will saw his wife's face, and she wasn't laughing, and that's why he got up. But what I saw was, from my own experience, I used to be one of those that would laugh things off. If something was painful or something hurt or someone told me something, I used to
right.
use laughter as a cover up for my pain from not lashing out. So but that's a sign of not having control because you laughing it off, but you really building it up. It's just still steady building up inside. So I feel like it was deeper than what Chris Rock said. It was really deep because he been getting dragged for so many years and he lost control. He didn't care about where he was at. He really lost control, and it was deeper than what people thought it was. Some people thought it was staged. It wasn't staged. He really lost control. If you watch the speech, it was like 6 minutes 42 seconds. He kept repeating the same thing 4 or 5 times when giving his speech. He was nervous. He was angry. Probably was embarrassed at himself because of what he did. But you could tell he was tired. He was emotionally drained and he just was tired and he just had to let it out. Everybody look at him as the public figure, but people forget that he's still human. He still have problems within himself. They think he's this perfect guy, but he's human. So what I saw is he lost control. He got tired and he just did what he felt he needed to do. That was his reaction. Not saying it was the right thing to do, but he just lost control.
Yeah. And I know, like, I watched a few of his interviews, and he mentioned how he had a lot of childhood trauma, right?
Mhm.
And honestly, like, being in the public eye is very, very difficult, and
Mhm.
especially with people criticizing you, your family, your kids, your wife every single day, and you have to ride that burden of
Right.
all of that inside, right?
Right.
Like, it's hurtful no matter what celebrities may say, but people sitting there being negative on their feeds every single day. That's why so many people, like, they have this body dysmorphia, right? So because of what people are saying about them, because words do hurt. No matter how much people say words don't hurt, they do hurt and they cut deep, right? So
Yeah.
those eternal scars are worse sometimes than the physical scars, because the physical scars, they will heal, right?
Right.
So with that situation, I just think that he just needs an outlet. Like, he needs a men's group. I love the way, like, Denzel and I think it was Tyler Perry came up to him. So I'm sure they're gonna have conversations with him just to be able to talk it out. Therapy, right? One of the things I had to do was I had to do therapy to heal a lot of trauma that has happened to me in my life. So can you tell us about therapy? Were you able to go to therapy to heal some of the trauma that happened in your life?
Yeah, that's my daughter's skirt me. Yes, I was able to go to therapy. I think that's a continuous thing when it comes to healing certain traumas. And the reason why I say that because we never know when we're going to get triggered. We never know what triggers us until it actually happened and how we retaliate to it. So I feel like we should use therapy as a tool to help us with the things that we probably be most challenged with and still dealing with. I think therapy is a very good resource for not just adults, for children, because I feel like if I got therapy as a child growing up, then I wouldn't be going through these things as an adult. I wouldn't be having all these challenges in relationships when it comes to men period, as an adult. So I feel like therapy is not something that should be mocked as like it's a bad thing, because that's what it's marked as. Like we don't need, it's for strengths, it's for crazy people, but it's really not. It's to help you navigate who you are, you know, where the problem is coming from, what's the root of the problem, and why you feel that way, so you can better navigate how, you know, how to deal with that, how to set boundaries, healthy boundaries within your relationships, within your friendships, within your family. How, you know, it helps you figure out who you are and the things that you need to work on to improve to be a better version of yourself.
Yes, absolutely. So, LaQuanta, as far as setting boundaries and becoming the best version of yourself, what are some of the things that you do to become the greatest and best version of you?
Some of the things I do is affirmations. I do affirmations and repetition. Repetition is basically like every night I will write my journal, the affirmations over myself, and I say it in the mirror. Um, I basically just speak life over myself, whether I'm in a negative mood or a positive. Because if I'm in a negative, I try to change it to a positive, because what we think of ourselves is who we are. So I use affirmations for one. Another thing is I work out, and I also try to eat clean, and I plant. I found that planting is actually therapeutic. Like it helps me figure out who I am by me taking care of these plants. It tells me a lot about myself if I'm taking care of myself correctly. Because if no one knows, when it comes to growing plants, one thing I learned is, if you're having a bad day, it's gonna feel your energy, and it dies. It starts dying. But when you're having a good day and it takes that energy, it blossoms. So that's something I had learned about plants, which is kind of cool. I didn't know that until I started becoming a plant mom. So those are some things that I do that calm me down, that helps me throughout my day, that just they relaxes me and bring peace to me. And also a lot of prayer too.
Yes, I love it. So I do some of the same things. So I journal daily. I have a blog that I write. So I blog. It helps really get everything out of my head and just really get it down on paper so I can really evaluate what's really going on and how I'm really feeling, what emotions I'm feeling, and how I can translate that energy, right, into
Right.
something more positive. Another thing I love to do is I love to travel, right? So travel is key for me. That's how I keep my mental health together. People like, here, you be traveling. I do, but that's my thing, right? That's my thing. I love to travel, and it keeps my mental health together, right? So I journal, I travel, I work out. So this week I'm going to start eating clean and eating healthier and drinking my water and going for more walks. So it's a lot of different healthy ways
Mhm.
that I'm going to start incorporating too, to, to really start to heal. So this next 30 days, starting tomorrow, because this is my last live show, I'm just focusing in on me. This is my last live show for the season. For the season.
Oh,
Calm down, everybody. Ladies, calm down.
you
Like,
see why I was like, what are you talking about?
I will be back before the season. But yeah, so this is my last live show. So I'm really gonna take some time, like you said, and just work on me for the next 30 days.
That's good.
I
That's
help a
good.
lot of people, and as you know, as women, that's what we do. We help everybody around us, but we don't take time for ourselves, right? And really get to know ourselves more, do some healing work, some spiritual work, some physical work, so we can come back a greater and better version of ourselves, so we can effectively help others. Because if you continue to walk around with all this trauma, and I don't know if you've ever read that book, The Body Keeps Score, and it talks about all the trauma that we hold in our
I think I
bodies.
need to read that book.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's called the body keeps score. And you can tell like when you're having like one of those days and you're having a trigger. So for me, I can feel it all here in my head and I can feel it here, in my chest around my chakras area. So there's some clearing that has to be done, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, of energy. But anyways, I could go on and talk about these things 'cause, as Black women, we've been through a lot, right? And we're the most underserved group of people, right?
Right.
And there's a lot of stigmas, right? And being a Black woman and being strong is attached to us. And the other day I was talking to a friend, I said, I just want to just be that's it. I just want to be. So these next 30 days, I'm just gonna be. I'm
That's good.
just gonna
That's a
be.
healthy boundary you create for yourself. Just be to yourself, enjoy yourself. And I think a lot of us women should do that. Be to ourselves, enjoy being alone. So a lot of us are afraid of that because we don't know how to be alone with ourselves. But when you're alone with yourself, you learn so much about yourself. If you start focusing on yourself and getting closer to God spiritually, you don't know yourself if you're not connected to God spiritually. You don't know yourself in a spiritual form, because if you did, you'll be living your truth. And that's why I stressed a lot about 95% of people are not living their truth because they don't know who they are. They don't. They're not close to God. They worried about what other people think of them, or looking for validation or permission, and they taking advice from those that's not even living their own truth,
Wow.
and allowing people to dim their light. And we should stop allowing people to dim our light, because we are the powerhouse. And I cannot stress enough, we have the power. No one can take it from us. We hold the power. We are the most strongest women on the planet, and a lot of us don't understand the power we have. We really don't, because we don't believe in ourselves. So until you start taking out the time for yourself mentally and dealing with all the trauma, all the pain from either family relationships, friends, significant others, you're gonna continue to have the same pattern, regardless of who you're around, who you surround yourself with. Even with your children, it all shows in your body language, in the way you talk, in the way you walk, the way you speak, the way you handle your children, the way you handle your relationship, the way you handle yourself. So if you want to have a healthy relationship, you need to put yourself to a higher standard where people can meet you where you at. You need to set boundaries, healthy boundaries. You need to start focusing on yourself and put yourself first, because if we don't put ourselves first, then we're doing ourselves a disservice, as well as everybody else that's depending on us.
Yes, I love it. And give yourself grace. Give yourself grace. It has been a rough 2 years, right?
It,
So
yeah.
go ahead, LaQuanta. It
Yes.
has, and
It
sometimes
has.
you find
And that,
yourself. Go
what you
ahead.
say?
Go ahead.
No, what
I'm
I
listening.
was about to say is, I can't admit I don't give myself enough credit. I don't. And I can admit that is my problem. That I still work till this day. I'll be too hard on myself, and I think that's just Black women, period. But when I guess when you're forced to do things alone, and you're a single mother, this I'm not speaking to all mothers, but there's also mothers that's in relationships or wives that feels like they're doing it all alone. It make you more aggressive. It does things
Mm,
to you mentally. It puts a toll on you. You forget about yourself and all these things. So this is something that I'm learning. I'm learning about self-love, how to love myself, how to receive love, how to know the difference between true love and lust, and all these things. And I think that's something us women struggle with. If we don't know how to love ourselves, how could we possibly know the difference between true love and lust, and when a person really love us? Because they're gonna if we love ourselves first, then we're gonna know how to recognize true love and how that person's supposed to love us. But if we don't, we're gonna continue to fail in relationships. So
yeah. And that's interesting how you said that because, and I never even thought about this until you just said it, right?
mhm.
Because I'm by myself and I have to do everything by myself, and how aggressive like you can be like in business or in life because you're doing everything by yourself and you cultivate this masculine energy, right? This divine masculine energy, and we have to shift that to our divine feminine energy, right?
Yes. Yes.
Wow, I never even thought about that until you mentioned it. Because you know, as Black women, we do operate a lot in masculine energy because you're taking care of everything, right?
Yeah. And I think it has a lot to do with how we respect the opposite of sex when it comes to males, depending on the situation of that young lady, that woman, um, how they feel towards that person. So like I don't think people, well, women, I don't think we realize that we come off aggressive because I hear it all the time.
Right,
Oh, my
right.
whole family like that. Oh, we just like that. We're not supposed to be like that. We're not supposed to be like that.
Girl, we're not supposed to be like that,
We're
girl.
not, we're not supposed to be so aggressive and loud. No, something happened. Something's wrong. Like it's not our culture. That's not how it's supposed to be. So it saddens me because when it comes to women, period, I know the struggles we go through, and we are so strong. Sometimes I feel like we're more stronger than men because we do so much, we carry so much, and we still bury the situations and the problems that we may have, the grief that we need to grieve within the back of our minds, and keep going like nothing's wrong. But we not knowing that we manifesting it inside. It's going to become physical. It's going to become painful because we're not dealing with the problem. We just running away from it, just covering up. Oh, I'm okay. But you can hear they're not okay through the way they talk. The pain is like sometimes when I hear some women talking, they screaming for help. But some don't even know that it's happening because they have mastered silence their pain. And that was me. I used to master silencing my pain until I realized, okay, this is not healthy because I will be walking like a ticking time bomb, and then I explode on the wrong person. So yeah,
Yeah,
we're
so
not
being
supposed to be so
able,
aggressive.
yeah, so being able to properly process that trauma and unpack it, like you said, with therapy and coaches and healers and
Mhm.
you know, even like family support or friend support, so you can really, well, you know, you really need a professional, right, to
Mhm.
process all of that. And it's an ongoing journey,
It's an
right? We're
ongoing
all in our 30s, you know, so that's 30 years or so worth of stuff. Just
unpacking, unpacking so much stuff.
yeah, so much stuff. So give yourself grace, believe that you can do it, right? You can heal from it. God created you for more. And the biggest thing is take that pain and turn it into purpose. There's another woman out here who needs you, right? There's children out here who need you. There is men out here right now who need you the most. As we talked about what happened with Will Smith, and a lot of Black men, they are crying out for help right now, and they need you. So just you know, process your trauma, get through it, and take that pain and turn it into purpose. Like LaQuanta is doing as a mental health advocate, right? So can
Right.
you tell us, LaQuanta, a few different things before we get off? Where we can find you? Tell us about your journal that you just launched, and
Mhm.
tell us about your clubhouse and all that you have going on to help the mental health of the Black community.
Okay. So you can find me at I have a group on Facebook called Powerful Courageous Women. I'm the founder and CEO of that, where I give women a space to let their hair down, be themselves, talk about whatever they want to talk about. It don't have to feel like they're being judged. So I have a group. You can find it in my bio on Facebook at LaQuanta Pikes. You can also find me on Instagram at I am LaQuanta. On Clubhouse, I have a club called Powerful Courageous Women. I host a room every Friday at 10 p.m. for about an hour. Also, I also have a book coming out. Like Kiara said, I have my first affirmation book coming out called "You Are Fearlessly and Wonderfully Made." I will be launching that April 20th. You're gonna be able to find it on Amazon. So I keep y'all updated with that. I'm very excited. Where it's representing diverse women, Black. It's gonna be all around. So it's diverse women. Where I have affirmations, and I also have the scriptures within that affirmations that represents that affirmation just a little bit to give you some insight of what I'm sharing with you guys to help y'all through y'all journey and how to create and visualize and create your own reality. So I'm very excited about that.
Yes, congratulations,
Thank
LaQuanta.
you.
Make
Thank
sure to
you.
post once you get your journal, post it in the group, right? So they
Yeah.
ladies can see it. Okay. Make sure y'all go to her clubhouse. She said Friday at 10 p.m. And then make sure to join her group, Powerful, Courageous Women. I'm gonna put all the links after this live stream. So ladies, just make sure you protect your mind, make sure you protect your mental health. Take a self-care day or two or 30, like I'm about to do.
Nothing wrong.
Whatever you decide on doing, just take care of you. We love y'all and we will talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.